Well, hello, everyone. Whether this is the first time you've ever listened to the show or whether you've been listening for many, many years, I've been on for 13 years. You know that from time to time I have special guests on the show. I've had Heather Schreiber, Social Security expert. I've had America's IRA expert Ed Slott on the show. I've had Tom Hegna on the show. Today, I have a great friend on the show with us, and this is a special relationship. I have someone that's connected to the whole reason why you're watching or listening right now. So my good friend Carl Muehlemeyer from Denver, Colorado is with us today. Carl, thank you so much for joining
It's
us.
great to be here. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here and how honored I am, honestly. Um, I was thinking a little bit about before we started, and we have 100 Safe Money Radio hosts across the country, and each of them are unique in their own way. They everybody is working in the same space, the retirement space, helping and serving people that are retired or about to retire. But there is truly only one Brad Pistole. So for
Did y'all hear
you,
that?
for you, for you, and I mean this with all sincerity, for you and for all of your listeners, there is only one Brad Pistole. When I say that, it's primarily because you are unique in that you never stop learning. You never stop studying and educating yourself so that you can better serve your clients. And I just want to commend you for that. And
Well,
and
thank you.
well, and I know you're recognized a lot for that too. And most recently, the Springfield Business Journal, right, as one of the most trusted advisors. So congratulations on that as
Thank
well.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a great honor, a super neat thing to get to experience with some other local people from banking, wealth management, insurance, real estate. It was a neat thing. Honored to be one of the SBJ Trusted Advisors of the Year. So
Absolutely.
that brings up a great point. We're going to talk about several different things today. And if you've listened to me anytime I've got a guest on, we have no script. Carl has no clue what I'm about to ask him or what we're about to talk about.
I'm a little scared.
Yep. But there is one thing he just said. He talked about education, and I'll tell you why it's important. Hunter and I, my son and I, third generation financial planning people. Um, my father was in the business for 52 years before he passed away. I know a lot of our listeners know my father passed on August 29th of this year. And he had every financial designation under the sun. He worked for Merrill Lynch. He worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield. He worked independently with us for a decade. But my son and I, we just completed the Retirement Income Certified Professional course through the American College of Financial Services. And it was, I mean, I've done a lot of incredible things educationally. My Ed Slot education that's ongoing is bar none the number one greatest thing that's happened to me educationally. But the RICP is right up there. And Ed was one of the teachers in the RICP course. So that was super neat. But I'll tell you this, why that's so important. This morning, before you got here, and we haven't even told you that, Carl's visiting from Denver, Colorado this morning. We had one of our absolute favorite clients, their daughter called and said, I need to talk to Brad. And Hunter came in and said, hey, Dad, you need to take this call. And literally one of my favorite people on this earth, he passed away this week. And he's not married. His daughter is his primary beneficiary. And in that type of situation, you immediately start thinking through all the things that come with it that a beneficiary is never going to think about. I'm thinking, okay, his IRA accounts, his Roth accounts, what's cash account, what is the tax status? She's not a spouse, she's a child. So that means under the new law, it is an inherited IRA or an inherited Roth IRA. And she's asking all these questions about how do I even go about touching this money? And do they just write me a check, or are the rules I have to follow? And of course, yes, there's all kinds of rules you have to follow. So I immediately email one of our Ed Slot group members, Andy Ives, and say, hey, here's the situation. Here's what we've got. This is an inherited IRA and Roth IRA, but he also just did Roth conversions in the last 2 years. And those have 5-year clock rules that start, and those rules pass on to the beneficiaries. So that is why education is so critically important. I always say, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I know someone who is.
That's another great point. You have always associated yourself and sought out the greatest minds in our industry, like Ed Slott, like Heather Schreiber for Social Security, or Tom Hegna is a great example too, especially when you're talking about income. So those alliances are equally as important as the education.
Absolutely. And to be able to share that with our listeners, to all the people who are listening right now or who are watching. And by the way, if you never have listened before, it's your first time ever, we're glad that you're joining us. Let me give you a phone number, 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. We probably have our information up here where you can go to our website. You can see our local phone number. But if you want our free information, and I offer this every week, if you want a copy of either of my best-selling books, Safe Money Matters or Bulletproof, the Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, with the forward by America's IRA expert, Ed Slott, he wrote that forward. We'll give you a copy free. Just call us. We'll give you our Safe Money Kit. We will do a free financial consultation with you. So anytime while you're listening, just call in 866-780-7233. We'll give you our information absolutely free, and there's always someone standing by to take your call. So Carl, let me ask you this. We've got people listening. If this is the first time they've ever heard of Safe Money Radio, or maybe they've been listening for 13 years, tell us how this whole crazy thing got started. I remember when I got the phone call in late 2009, which changed my life forever, but how did Safe Money Radio even start?
It's crazy to think it's been, since 2008 that it's been that long, but
Wow.
yeah. It started with there's, and I think there's still a gap, in specializing in retirement and income planning.
Yes.
There are of course lots of brokers, and financial advisors that specialize in helping people accumulate wealth, but they don't help them in the way. They're not trained. They don't have the tools, the education that we just talked about that someone like you possesses. So we started Save Money Radio back in 2008 to try and help people find quality retirement planning professionals that specialize and can truly serve and help people that are retired or about to retire. So we
Right.
started that in 2008, and it's been a great way. We have a network and a family, really is more accurate. I mean, you've gotten to know a lot of those guys
Oh,
and
from
and,
all over the
and
country.
mentored a lot of those guys,
Yes. Yes.
from all over the country, and share ideas and on how they're serving their communities and the clients in their communities. But yeah, we started in 2008, and there's about 100 or so
Yeah.
advisors across the country,
Yeah.
and it's been a great thing. I think we've helped serve a lot of people across the country.
Well, everyone likes to think that they're the original idea. And I like to say, I certainly have watched a lot of people try to copy us over the years
It's
because
true.
these shows have popped up all over the place
It's
and they
true.
try to have similar names and that sort of thing. But we're grateful for, I know, Anthony Owen and a whole bunch of other people that we've worked with that's helped create these things and teach us and share. And so we're super grateful to be able to bring a program like this to the Ozarks, to Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma. But if no matter where you're at, there's probably a Safe Money Radio program local to where you are. I do get calls from all over the place. Springfield is a vacation hub. People come to Bass Pro. They come to see the aquarium. They go to Branson, Lambert's, which we will be doing soon. And that's right. So it's neat that people will come here and they'll be like, "Hey, I heard your show," and I'll notice their phone is from Florida or it's from California or wherever. And I certainly have been able to connect people to our Safe Money Radio guys all over the country, and that's a neat thing.
Yeah.
So if you're listening right now and you're not local, there's probably someone that we know that's a good friend and colleague that can help you in your area. But we are truly retirement income planning specialists. We are going to focus on the safety of your assets. You spent a lot of time building up your assets to get to where you are. And what you don't want is something like what's happening in 2022. You don't want a 20 to 25% market crash right when you start your retirement, because that can decimate your plans for a happy and healthy retirement. We show you how to not do that, how to keep your assets safe, and how to generate lifetime income from those assets. So if you would like to know more about that, just call us anytime. 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. I'll give you a copy of my book, Bulletproof, the Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. It talks specifically about how accounts like this work. And I'll also give you my Safe Money Kit. Inside that kit, it's going to talk about, it's going to have client referrals. They're going to talk about why they do business with us and how it's changed their financial plans. But it will also talk specifically about how these things work. So Carl, thank you so much for sharing that side of the story with us. I want to ask you some other things after the break. But before we take a break, make sure that you write the number down and give us a call, 866-780-7233. There's someone standing by right now to take your call. Okay, Carl. So we've been talking today about how Safe Money Radio started.
Yeah.
And some of the people maybe didn't even know. They've listened to me for a long time. They thought, well, I'm the only person in the area, but they're actually all across the country. Let me ask you this. It started in '08. The first of us were in '09. I started in early 2010. How have you seen retirement planning and topics around that change in this last decade from when Safe Money Radio started to now? What big things have you seen change in the industry or regarding retirement planning?
Gosh, I don't know if there has been a ton of change. I mean, especially now, the 2022, the market that we're in is, I think it's sort of um, highlighted right now because of the awareness, because of the market is down so much. So, I mean, it's
Yes.
as I'm listening to you talk, about our family and across the country, a family of retirement planning specialists, it's sort of heightened right now. Just the impact that consumers and retirees and people who are about to retire are having because of inflation, not just the market, but of
Yeah.
course inflation, taxes, all of those. Even since when we started, I mean, those concerns, those fears, that doesn't change.
It doesn't.
It doesn't
Yeah.
change at all. I mean, some of the tools maybe in education evolve, and as tax law changes or those types of things,
Yeah.
but the concerns and fears that people have, they don't change.
Yep. The number one fear has remained constant: running out of money before you run out of life.
You bet.
So every person that calls says, hey, I've opened my brokerage account and it's not where I thought it was going to be. I'm scared. Or especially this year when we watched inflation go up to 9%, which was crazy. People don't realize when they work for the old school jobs that have pensions and lump sum distribution options that when interest rates go up, those lump sum options do the reverse. They go down.
Mm.
So people got their statements and saw what their lump sum distribution was going to drop to in 2023. And our phone starts ringing off the hook saying, hey, I got this letter saying if I don't elect my lump sum distribution option now, this is what my new amount's going to be in 2023. Why is it dropping by $100,000? The biggest one we saw, it dropped by $200,000. Well, that's because of inflation and the interest rates going up, and it has an inverse relationship with what's going to happen with how they determine your lump sum payout. So we've had a lot of business where people have said, we can't afford to keep working and hope that it comes back. We can't take a $200,000 loss. So their retirement came a lot quicker than they thought it was going to. But I can certainly tell you this, being on the radio for 13 years, there's one thing that I've watched change. Like you said, everything's been pretty constant. But, over the years, and this is crazy, but I've written over 1,000 annuities for clients. Just in the month
Wow.
of September of 2022, I wrote 20, totaling $8,140,000 in rollovers in 1 month. So I've structured over 1,000 annuities. And back in 2008, 2009, the word annuity was a 4-letter word. If you said the word annuity, you were cursing at someone. They're like,
Got to consider the source, Brad. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
My grandfather said never own one of those.
Yeah.
Or this guy I listened to on the TV said never buy an annuity. But we've really watched that change. And so now, and this is what's really cool, we have locally here in Springfield, we have hosted a movie that has kind of become a phenomenon. It's called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. We've been the only financial planning group in the Ozarks to do this, but we've hosted it 4 times now. And we did that this week. We did it in August. We did it now and on Tuesday and Wednesday. We were packed out. We didn't have any room left for seats. And the people that came when they watched this documentary on what's going on in the financial world in the United States, people are realizing there weren't any financial advisors in the movie. There weren't any salesmen in the movie. It was all people with their PhDs. It was economists. It was people that worked in our government, that worked in the Bush administration, people that work in the administration now. And the interesting thing is, you have people like Dr. Olivia Mitchell, Dr. Mosh Milevsky, Dr. David Babel, Dr. Wade Fowle from the American College. You have economists like Tom Hegna. You have America's IRA expert, Ed Slott. All these people all agree on one thing. They agree on the fact, and that's probably a caller calling us right now wanting more information. They agree on one thing: annuities should be a part of every single person's retirement income plan. Not all of it, but a portion of the money should be in the retirement income plan, along with stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash accounts, that sort of thing. But it's because there needs to be an element of safety and guaranteed retirement income. So, have you seen people's opinions change on annuities over the years?
I think yes. I mean, back in 2008, I think annuity was a four-letter word. But again, I say consider the source.
Yeah,
Who's saying that?
yeah,
And who's saying it now? When you see a market like you were talking in 2022 that's down 20% or more, um, they're not saying that right now.
that's right.
Because people aren't losing the value. Their income is not going down because it's tied to the market, of course. So
Sure.
so it's in that respect we have seen some changes for sure.
It's great to get phone calls from new clients who have listened for a long time and they got an account like this, and then they call in a market downturn and say, "Hey, I looked at my account and all my money's still there." Yeah, that's what we said was going to happen. I love this thing. It's fantastic. Can I get another one? So it's pretty cool to see things like that happen.
Absolutely.
But hey, if you're listening right now and you've never heard any of this type of information, you want to know more about how you can protect your income and your hard earned money, just give us a call 866 780 SAFE. That's 866 780 7233. We'll give you a copy of our free information that we've shared with literally thousands of people all across the country. We'll be glad to give it to you absolutely free. Call us anytime at 866 780 7233. There's someone standing by right now to take your call.
I just thought about one other thing. One of your colleagues up in Michigan
Yes.
um, talks about the importance of insuring your greatest assets.
Yeah.
And I think when we think about that, the first thing that comes to mind is our house. And he will ask people that he's meeting with, "Do you insure your house?" And of course, they always answer, "Of course, I insure my house." Well, why do you do that? Because of potential fire, right? I don't want my house to catch fire and burn down. There is a very, very, very remote chance that your house would actually burn down, but yet you carry insurance for that,
Right.
right? Why not for your most important retirement accounts? From market loss, lots of different reasons, of course. And I know that you can help a lot of people. You look at people that in this country that are age 65, there is a 70% chance that they will need some form of long-term care in their lifetime.
Absolutely.
70%. Yet nobody's prepared for this. And I know you're helping a lot of people and serving a lot of people in that way too. So I don't know. That's just popped in my brain.
That's excellent, Carl. It
Yeah,
is the purple elephant in the room. We say if you have a married couple sitting in front of us, we'll say the chances are that one and a half of you are going to end up in need of care.
right,
70% chance.
right.
It's not 50. So one of you, and maybe one of you for a long period of time, maybe a year, but one of you may have fall and break a hip, slip on the ice, have something happen, have a surgery. You might need a rehabilitation for a couple of months. So people are often ignoring the type of biggest risk that there are. There are risks on our homes. We just found that in Florida in the big storms this week.
Oh gosh, yeah,
On our cars, we insure them. We insure our boats. We insure everything under the sun. Why in the world would you not insure your greatest asset, which would be your life savings, your retirement? And that's what we've been offering people on Safe Money Radio for more than a decade: how to insure your retirement, protect yourself from ever losing your balance, your principal, but also your future income and what you're going to pass on to your heirs. So we're glad to help with this. If you have questions, you want more information, if you want to find out how to insure your 401k or your IRA, your Roth, your cash accounts, just give us a call. We're glad to help. 866 780 SAFE, 866 780 7233. Carl, we're so grateful that you're here to join us today. Those of you that have been listening or watching online, give us a call anytime. We're glad to help. 866 780 7233. And there's someone standing by right now to take your call.